When I first took up my abode in the woods, that is, began to spend my nights as well as my days there, which by accident was on Independence Day, or the 4th of July, 1845, my house was not finished for winter, but there was merely a defense against the rain. Without plastering or chimney, the walls began being of rough, weather-stained boards with wide chinks, which made it cool at night. The upright, white-hewn studs were freshly planed. Door and window castings gave it a clean and airy look, especially in the morning, when its timbers were saturated with dew, so that I fancied that by noon some sweet gum would exude from them.
We underlined and put a question mark by hewn because we did not know what it means.
The only house I had been the owner of before, if I except a boat, was a tent, which I used occasionally when making excursions in the summer, and this is still rolled up in my garret. But the boat, after passing from hand to hand, has gone down the stream of time. With this more substantial shelter about me, I had made some progress towards settling in the world.
For the first week, whenever I looked out on the pond, it impressed me like a tarn high on the side of a mountain, its bottom far above the surface of other lakes, and as the sun arose, I saw it throwing off its nightly clothing of mist, and here and there, by degrees, its soft ripples or its smooth, reflecting surface was revealed, while the mist like ghosts were stealthily withdrawing in every direction of the woods, as at breaking up of some nocturnal convecticle.
We highlighted I saw it throwing off its nightly clothing of mist because that is personification.
The very dew seemed to hang upon the trees later into the day than usual, as on the sides of the mountains.
Every morning was a cheerful invitation to make my life of equal simplicity, and I may say innocence, with nature herself.
We highlighted every morning was a cheerful invitation because some people disagree that mornings are great and awesome.
I got up early and bathed in the pond. That was a religious exercise and one of the best things which I did.
We highlighted that was a religious exercise because that means that's something that people do over and over again routinely.
The morning is the most memorable season of the day.
We highlighted that because some people usually forget their mornings because it's the first thing that happens during the day, and by the end of the day they don't remember.
I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what if it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life, living so dear, nor did I wish to practice resignation unless it was quite necessary.
We highlighted I did not wish to live what was not life. Living is so dear because life is too precious to be wasted.
I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life and live sturdily and Spartanly, as to put to rout all that was not life, to cut broad swath and shave close, to drive life to a corner, reduce it to its lowest terms, and if it proved to be mean, why then to get the whole and genuine meanness of it, and publish its meanness to the world, or if it were sublime, to know by its experience and to be able to give a true account of it in my next excursion. For most men, it appears to me, are in range of uncertainty about it, whether it is of the devil or God, and have somewhat hastily concluded that it is the chief end of man, here to glorify God and enjoy him forever.
First, we highlighted the morrow of life because that emphasizes living life at its fullest. And then we highlighted glorify God and enjoy him forever because it shows that the religious views of Thoreau.
Still we live meanly like ants. Our life is glittered away by detail. An honest man has hardly need to count more than his 10 fingers, or in extreme cases he may add his 10 fingers or lump the rest. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity.
We highlighted simplicity because he emphasizes simplicity, and that's why he repeats it over and over again.
I say, let your affairs be as 2 or 3, not 100 or 1,000, instead of 1,000,000, count half a dozen, and keep your accounts to your thumbnail. Simplicity, simplify, simplify.
We highlighted that again because it repeated again.
Instead of 3 meals a day, if be necessary, eat 1. Instead of 100 dishes, 5, and reduce other things to proportion.
Why should we live with such hurry and waste of life? We are determined to be starved before we are hungry. Men say that a stitch in time saves 9, and so they take 1,000 stitches today and save 9 tomorrow. As for work, we haven't any of any consequence.
Time is but a stream I go a-fishing in.
We highlighted time is but a stream because that represents that time doesn't stop in like streams, it just keeps going on.
I drink at it, but while I drink, I see the sandy bottom and detect how shallow it is. Its thin current slides away, but eternity remains. I would drink deeper, fish in the sky, whose bottom is pebbly with stars. I cannot count 1. I know not the first letter of the alphabet. I've always been regretting that I was not as wise as the day I was born. The intellect is a cleaver, and it discerns and rifts its way into the secret of things. I do not wish to be any more busy with my hands than necessary. My head is my hands and feet.
We underlined my hands and feet because we didn't know what it meant.
I feel all my best facilities concentrated in it. My instinct tells me that my head is an organ for burrowing, as some creatures use their snout and forepaws, and with it I would mine and burrow my way through these hills. I think that the richest vein is somewhere hereabouts. So by the divining rod and this rising vapors I judge, and here I will begin to mine.